Welcome to The Fault. We have two brothers breaking down their business mistakes. This episode of The Fault is our very first, and we're excited. I'm Jared, and I will be talking about why it's important to keep things simple for clients and why I have a tendency to overthink and complicate things.
And I'm Jay, and I'll be discussing how maybe our side hustles are distracting from our main hustle.
See you there.
That I might get distracted from thinking about side hustles and other opportunities and put them all into my main venture.
Recently figured out why that is, and I think it's exactly what you're talking about. Because the way I put it in my own head is that ideas are cheap. So have you ever been, yeah, absolutely, which was a pretty big win. I wasn't sure if we were going to get them. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of our new podcast. We are very excited about this. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about our faults. This is my brother, Jay, and he has a business the same as I do. Jay, could you talk just a little bit about your business? What do you do?
Hi, I'm your brother. I'm Jay. I have a small business here in the North Philadelphia area, and I sell cabinets. It's called Bradfield Express Cabinets. I wholesale about 80%, 90% to contractors, builders, developers, and then the rest is retail. So that's what I do. What do you do, Jared? What's your business? I don't know why I'm talking. My list you in your face. This is between us.
Sounds good. I have a company called Worldwide English Services. We customize and deliver English training for corporations and government clients. So, a few months ago, my brother and I were talking about our businesses, as we often do, and we were talking about the problems that we have, the mistakes we've made. I don't remember which ones in particular we were talking about at that point, but we were talking through them and the reasons why we made those particular mistakes, and we had the idea of this podcast. So what we're going to be doing is each week, both of us will have a mistake that we made in our business, our fault for the fault, and we're going to talk about that, talk about why we made it, thinking in particular about the psychological reasons. Are we afraid of something, and that's why we made the mistake? Are we subconsciously looking to do something else? Are we interested in something else and we haven't keyed in on that yet? What is the reason behind the mistake that we're making? And then put a plan in place for how to fix it. And eventually, what we'd like to do is add in check-ins. So we'll come back to previous faults, we'll pull them out of the vault, and we will look at our progress that we've made and perhaps revise our plans and see what we want to do moving forward. So that's the idea. We are not sure how it will go because this is our very first podcast, but we are excited about the journey. We hope that it will make us better at what we're doing as a way of driving transparency and kind of accountability for us with each other and with all of you guys, all three of you so far. And maybe you'll enjoy it and hopefully find some benefit as well. So that's the plan. Jay, brother of mine.
Yes.
You want to start us all? By the way, what is a... Oh, thank you.
That was well said. And today, for inaugural... I should have used a different word. Jared tried to use that one a few times at the beginning, yes.
We had to restart this episode 3 times because I didn't say inaugural.
I was not planning on... I still think you said a little bit funky there. This is a Perrier. This is there's some Arabic. It's not focusing, but you should be able to read that, Jared.
I can't see it.
Yeah, I can't go close because it's not focused, but this is some Perrier that was from an Emirates flight, and so I'm going to have some of this today in our honor. Today, fault. Okay, something that's been on my radar. Do you know who Alex Hormozi is, Jared?
Yes, yeah, sure. Yeah,
we've talked about his
offer. Yeah, $1 million offer, $1 million leads, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he had a post recently talking about something about going all in, or it was discussing the goodness gracious, let's cut that out. He was discussing the validity of side hustles. So whether or not, basically his idea was if you were to put all the energy you might have into side hustles, things, I'll speak in the first person, if I were to take all that energy that I might get distracted from thinking about side hustles and other opportunities and put them all into my main venture, then it would be ROI positive, and that would be a better. I would be I would get farther with the main thing than spreading myself out too much. I was thinking about that because, when I moved in here a few years ago, when I started the business, there was a couple of things. I had an idea. You probably remember this. This kind of divided. There's a warehouse part and then a kind of a half finished part, although it's pretty nasty. Not nasty. It's just not pretty. It's not open to the public. And I had the idea, I was like, because before that I was doing video production. It was small scale for businesses around. I was thinking, I'll just use that space in the front to do video production. And then in the back, I'll be doing cabinets. And that was my plan going in as far as how to maximize using the space. And then I remember one of the other things, this was like a year ago, I was looking at Mountain Spring Water has a program because they have all glass bottles, and I always try to get rid of plastic in my life. And so they had this thing where there were distributors around that would distribute the large 5-gallon glass bottles of this stuff. I was like, maybe I should, in order to pay for my own consumption of this as a way to get good mineral spring water, that I should turn this front part into that. And so it doesn't need to be a storefront, but I just hold the things here. Or even things like credit cards or other things that I really enjoy, or even video production. And I was thinking about all these different things, and they've come and gone, and they've lingered, and they all take some of my energy. And I think for example, video production, it takes you have to build the brand out. I would have to build the brand out. That's website, that's social, that's going and finding clients, that's going and building, making those clients more valuable. That's going and doing. There's a lot that goes into that just to build that one. And I'd have to kind of do that for each one. I'd have to get the word out that I am a distributor for this water, for example. All those things. And I think that it would be better with the limited amount of time here that I have on this earth, that I'll be alive. I think as I've not had success with spreading out my attention, even though I like to be so efficient that I think it's efficient to be using and thinking about and doing all these sort of things. I think the best thing to do, and what I should have done more, is focus on what I'm doing. The principal thing, the reason why I'm in this building, the reason why I have the sign out front that has the name of the business on it. And so I should have just been focusing on that it's the website for this, and not worry about other things. And I'm not even talking about personal life things, not talking about social life, not even talking about hobbies, but even those things might come into play as well. It's depending on how great the time requirement and energy it is needed to build whatever business that we want to build, or people watching might want to build.
Yeah.
And so that kind of hit home to me, because I tend to be more scattered. And so I was like, I shouldn't be entertaining those thoughts as much. When how much am I going to make from doing some of these other things, when if I really focus, the average client, I've made up to $4,000 or $5,000 on one kitchen. It doesn't really take that much effort. And even the smaller ones, it's still a decent profit percentage, and I have a great price too with that. So it's not even like I'm not gouging or anything. It's just that's the nature of the business. So how much more would I have to be receiving if I were to put all my energy in one thing? So that's what I wanted to talk about today.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think I have two thoughts about that. One is a compliment to you. I think you learned that lesson because semi-recently, I think it was this summer, I suggested an opportunity for you here in Saudi, where I am, in Saudi Arabia, and you turned me down. I wanted you to do some promotional reels for hotels here, and you turned me down for exactly the reason you're talking about. So it seems like you learned that lesson, which is fantastic. Good for you.
It's one I have to keep relearning. But yeah, that was an example of just, sure, I can't handle another thing in my head. I have to push on with what's going on with this. Yeah, I forgot about that. It's true.
Yep. And the other thing you made me think of is you probably have something like this as well. I have people trying to give me advice all the time, which is very nice of them. It's not I'm not complaining about it. But it's difficult for me. And it's difficult because they'll say, oh, you should try you should try English for kids. There's such a huge market for English for kids. You should do that. And you should do B2C. You should do English for individuals. I know lots of people who need English. You should do you should develop specific courses. So they come up with lots of these ideas, and it often like irks me when they do this. And I just recently figured out why that is, and I think it's exactly what you're talking about. Because the way I've put it in my own head is that ideas are cheap. It's very easy for me to kind of brainstorm and say, here, you should do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for your business. But for you, it's really expensive when I'm suggesting it for you, because exactly like you're saying, if I could say you should do videos for hotels, there's a lot of money in that, but that's a lot more work for you than it is for me to have thought of that idea. And so it's like that's what was unconsciously irking me when people were trying to give me advice, because it was like, yeah, you're doing the easy part, and then you're looking at me like, oh, why aren't you doing this great idea I had? It's like, well, this is a lot of work.
Yeah, the irony is that it's very possible that if you were like, oh, I'm trying to grow my business, and I'm doing English, I'm doing this to B2C, they might go, well, try B2B. Think about how many businesses there are.
Oh, really?
Business that does,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, what do you think? Like, what am I going to saturate the market? How many businesses are there?
Right. Right.
And also, businesses are made up of people. So it's like,
right.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is easy to say. It's let me build out. But I don't wonder what that compulsion is that we have to ask for those things, to present those things. Like, what do I get from suggesting that to you? That because I'm gonna forget about it. I say that my advice to my 2 cents, and then I walk away and I don't think about it.
Uh-huh.
And if you were to be like, okay, well, write down the names of those people. I'm going to teach them. To be like, whoa. You know what I mean? Can you imagine being like, write down the names of the people that you know that need English lessons? I have a buddy actually that's looking for them, and I'm going to sign up those people. To be like, well, chill, bro. So it's not like they're actually, when we do that, we're actually, that's a weird thing. Yeah.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that aspect. I imagine part of it is societal, like we want to help people. I mean, I think that those people are doing a positive thing, or what they're doing is for positive reasons.
Yes.
They want to help. They sincerely want to see me do well. They want to see you do well.
Yeah.
And I think they just don't really kind of think through all of it. And that's also not to say like, I need ideas. Everybody needs ideas.
Right.
So
they might be right sometimes.
When
we might be right.
Yeah, yes, for sure. Mm-hmm.
It's funny sometimes. Yeah. Real quick, I literally had the same thing though a number of times. My cousin actually does. Our cousin, we have the same family. Our cousin said it to me one time. He goes, "Look at this other cabinet," and I was just like, "Why?" He didn't tell me a reason. It wasn't like they have they don't have a finish that I don't have. I mean, they do, because I have a limited. My brand is limited. It's good quality and it's not super expensive. But that wasn't the reason. It was just because they're another cabinet that is similar to mine. I was just like, what? It's almost the opposite, because it's like you're saying there's nothing. Yeah, it's a weird thing. I just remember being like, I have a cabinet. It works. It's very good. I like it a lot. I'm putting it in my kitchen. I like this cabinet. Why do I gonna look over there? And actually, the place where not him, because he gets his cabinets from me when he has his own projects, but where somebody that he works for a lot, I actually emailed them, and we actually talked. This will be another episode, but I emailed them and asked them for a quote. Remember when we talked about that, and I said that it was I thought it was somewhat unethical to go and fake to try to get prices. Well, I did that. And so I emailed this big distributor. It's not a mom and pop shop. I don't feel too bad. And I put out a list of cabinets, and I was about 40% cheaper. My cabinets I have a slightly higher markup. That's like my top.
Yeah.
It's my normal that I would do for people. I have a very small range. I keep them as low as I can. And so it's like the most I would charge, it was like 40% cheaper. And I still haven't sent this to them. Just be like, bro, it's like, it's not even close. Mine's 35 and they're at 6 for a small kitchen. Like, it's not it's better, and I guarantee I have a better product. I can't guarantee it.
Yep.
Anyway, so it's very similar. It's weird. It's like just because they hear something, oh, I know something similar about that, we go, let me offer this to you. I guess it's natural, but
Yep. For sure.
anyway, yeah. What do you? I'm dragging it out. What do you come to here to talk about today?
I am here to talk about my feelings and also a fault that I had.
Okay.
So a mistake I made recently was I was talking with a potential client, and they're asking a question. We have two types of programs we do. They're progression training and functional training. And this client asked me what the difference is between them. And I realized I didn't have a kind of an easy way to say, this is X and that's Y. And so I had to play to try to find a balance of showing how the sausage was made. This is I had to describe them. Instead of just saying a one-liner, I had to describe what went into them, what you get out of them, how we develop them, etc.
That's longer. Sounds more involved.
Yes, exactly, much longer. And the thing I realized is that clients and people many times, when they ask those questions, they're not asking, how do you make the sausage? They're basically asking, do you know how to make sausage? And so they need to hear a real quick. They don't want to hear what kind of pig intestine you use and how you grind the meat. They want to know, yep, I do it. I do it at the factory, and it tastes amazing and it looks great. So what I need to work on is picking out those sort of frequently asked questions, the questions that clients ask most about the business, and making sure I have really good, easy one-liner or two-liner responses to them, to just get past those moments. So clients see he's confident about this, he knows what he's talking about, great, and most likely they will never think about that again. And that's all they wanted to get out of that particular moment. So instead of giving them that little boost of confidence, I gave them an in-depth look at how the sausage was made. So I did not get their eyes for.
Did you watch their eyes blaze over?
I did, exactly. That's exactly what happened. So yes, so that's my point. That's what I need to work on.
Like that, because it's easy to check back on later, because that's very actionable, I guess, is the word.
To sure
Resolve it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is, I have a tendency, if we were talking earlier about how we like to look at the psychology behind the mistakes we make. I have a tendency to complicate everything. I like complicated solutions to complicated problems. And I don't mean it to sound, this sounds a little bit demeaning. I don't mean it to be demeaning. When you do sales, it kind of needs to be sales for dummies, that type of thing. I don't mean to say that people are dumb. It's just like you need to dumb everything down because they're not looking for those details. They go elsewhere in their life to get loaded down by a lot of information. It's not when they're looking to buy a product a lot of the time. So I have to remember that I have to figure out a way to be much better at that. And that's part of what I want to do with this podcast, actually, to figure out how to convey information crisply, shortly, easily, package it well. So yes, that's one for me.
That's a good one. And I'm sure those sort of issues will come up because you have a technical business, and so those sort of questions will come up, and it's not something that people are going to readily already know about just from living.
Right.
So you'll have the opportunity to not complicate answers many times in the future, and every time I have to do like you're doing now, take those back and be like, okay, I need to find a better answer for this when I'm not at this conference or I'm not in this meeting. But
yep,
it's a good one to keep in mind. I think it's a good
for
one
sure.
Everybody, nice.
Cool. So that is it for today for our two faults. And then we have really good news because we are business people. We don't do anything. We don't get out of bed unless we're getting paid for it, as you know. And so we already have a sponsor for our podcast. We're going to get really a separate, looks like we'll have a separate sponsor for every episode because we're very, very popular already. Yeah. And sure. So absolutely. So we're just making that green, getting that money in the door. And so our sponsor for today, which is very, very real, is actually neon colored suitcases. So have you ever been, yeah, absolutely, which was a pretty big win. I wasn't sure if we were going to get them for this episode, but we were. They kind of came through in the last minute.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time people are afraid to get neon colored suitcases because they don't want to get laughed at. They don't want to be the guy pulling the ugly yellow suitcase off the conveyor belt and everyone looking at them like, who's that loser over there? But the thing you have to remember is when you are walking out of the airport and you're walking past the baggage claims counter where the people go over to say they lost their suitcase, and you overhear that person saying, "Oh, it's a black Samsonite about yay tall," and you see the people at the desk kind of exchange glances like, "Oh, okay, good luck finding that one." Then who has the last laugh? It's you. So,
as an added benefit, also, real quick, as an added benefit, also, if you go in a group of your friends and you all have a unique bag like this, it will look like at Mardi Gras and a big party, and you're going to be attracted to a lot of people. Look at a nice rainbow going out in your Uber, and that's a really great time.
Yeah. Yep, you will be seen from low Earth orbit, which will be really fantastic. When they're taking those Earth pictures, they'll have that little spot there, and scientists for years will be peering into the map, wondering what is this phenomena? So call 1-800 to pick up your neon suitcase. Call 1-800 GOO NEON, GOONEON. What is
it? Emphasize the go. Yeah.
Well, it's like I think what they're trying to do is go for that fluorescent, like the goo, the radioactive. I think so. But yeah, so pick yours up today. When you pick up a neon suitcase, you are supporting our podcast, and we appreciate that. And so, yeah, make sure you pick one up. Maybe pick up a couple for the friends with the holidays coming up. They make a great Thanksgiving gift, Christmas gift, all of the above.
Thank you to our fake sponsor. Thank you.
For sure. I think this was, we made it through our first episode. That's very exciting.
The important thing.
So we'll move on to our second one. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll hope to see you again at episode 2. And that's it for today.
Thank you. Bye. Until next time.